Okay, and I'm back. So I got all of the corrugated siding installed. I've got it painted with the gray primer, and now I'm going to try to add some rust effects on it. I'm going to be using a couple of different colors here: Model Air Rust, Model Air Orange Rust, and Panzer Ace's Light Rust. So I'm going to start off with the rust. I'm going to be using a piece of grout sponge here. Not going to go too heavy on this. I just want to give a little bit of a rusted effect. Starting to rust, siding's not real old, hasn't been out getting exposed. Just had a little power dip, a little stormy, windy winter weather outside, so might have that to look forward to today. Alright, I don't know how well that's showing up on camera. Okay, now that we've got the weathering done on the corrugated siding, it's time to install the sign. With the sign in place, now it's time to paint these clapboard walls. But before I paint them, I'm going to go ahead and stain them with some Vetero. And even though these are going to be ultimately glued to some plywood, micro plywood, so warping isn't too much of a concern, because I'm going to go ahead and stain both sides just to try to minimize any amount of warping that might occur before gluing them to the plywood pieces. So I'm just staining these because my plan is the paint. I'm going to paint these white, but I'm going to give it a very worn looking coat of white, and so there will be some underlying wood showing through, and so I don't want that wood to be this color. I want it to look something more like it would look after it had been exposed to the elements over a period of time. So okay, then we'll just let these dry, and then we'll get to the painting. The color I'm going to use to paint the clapboard walls is this folk art vintage white. I'm gonna use that same brush that I used to do the stain. The paint will be a little heavier at the top where less weather has gotten to it, but then as it gets down towards the bottom, it will start to show wear. Yeah, we're not going for the super dilapidated look, just old worn paint that they haven't gotten around to touching back up yet or repainting. So we'll let those dry. Okay, we've got the clapboard siding pieces mounted to the four walls. They're painted. So according to the instructions, the next step is to actually start putting in the windows and doors in preparation for assembling the four walls into the primary structure. Let me get set up for that and we'll start working on getting those windows and doors put in. Okay, I got a little bit ahead of myself and I went ahead and painted the windows and the doors. I've decided that for the overall trim for the structure, all the trim pieces that'll go on the corners and the trim around the windows and the door frame there, I'm going to use this Vallejo Model Air Mahogany 71.036. And I wanted a nice dark color to contrast with both the white of the clapboard as well as the gray of the corrugated siding. So now the next step is to get these glued in. I went ahead and I used the, well, you can see that they provided some material to make blinds. I went ahead and used it. Maybe I should have painted them, but what's done is done. So now I'm going to make sure that fits in real nice. I'll make sure that I don't need to do any sanding before I go ahead and glue these in. Yeah, that looks real good. Excellent. Everything has a real good fit. Nice and tight. So we'll pop these out. We'll add a little glue and get these glued in. Then we'll be back. Okay, so we got the windows glued in. Now I'm going to go to my instructions, mark off the steps. Okay, now it says I got to locate the brown window frame sheet, and we're going to paint one side of them the trim color. So let me go find that sheet, and then we'll get back and paint those. All right, here's the sheet we need to paint. Got a little bit of the paint left over from when I did the windows, so I'll use that up first here on the Folgers coffee lid palette. Okay, so I cut the first couple out that I need for this particular wall, and these are kind of interesting because you actually glue them in from the back side of the wall. I don't know if you can see that there's actually laser cut recesses into the wall panels themselves that these will fit into. So we just need to grab some glue. Make sure we get enough glue, but not too much. All right, let me just grab one of these and plop it down in, and just like that. So make a nice recessed window frame. So I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of these, cut them out, give them a quick sand on the edge to make sure that there's no little nubs, and I'll get them all installed and then we'll be back. Alright, it's time to start assembling the walls of the main structure here. So trying to test fit things. There we go. Here's what we're after. All right. Alright, helps you get the right tool for the job. Start with these first two walls, then we will get them next. When these have dried, I will add the other two walls, and then we will very soon have an actual box. Okay, so I've got the four main walls assembled. I've got the ridge post installed. The next thing I need to do is install these two little walls here. They come around on this side and will form a little end of the building there. I think we'll wrap this video up here, and then in the third segment we will finish the build, final weathering and detailing, and then see how it looks installed on the layout. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next segment, and we will see you down the rails.